Hi everyone, it's Jenna. I just really needed to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while. And it's actually been on my mind ever since it happened. It was June, so it was about 2 months ago. And it's been on my mind ever since. But it was really hard to deal with. What I'm talking about is I was raped by my ex-boyfriend, and I never really understood why people who had this happen to them felt like so miserable. I never really understood it, but when it happened to me, I really understood it better. So what happened was my ex-boyfriend, he told me that he told me to come to his house and that his mom would drive me home. And me being 15, I didn't know any better, so I went. And then he said that he needed money he asked me how much money I had, and I said I have $15. And he said I need $15 for a bus. And I was like, okay, because I thought he was going somewhere after his mom dropped me off. And so I gave him the money, and then when we got to his house, he told me to go into his room and his mom would be home soon, so I did. And then when I went in there, he came in, closed the door and locked it, and he told me to take off my clothes, and I said no, and he was like, take off your clothes right now, and I still refused. And then so he came over to me and took my shirt off and took everything else off, and then he pulled down his pants and raped me. And then after he was done, he told me to go home, and I said, but your mom is going to drive me home. And he said, you're really that stupid? And I was confused. And then I called my closest friend, who's actually in New Jersey. Her name is Sammy. I called her and I told her everything that happened, and I was just crying on the phone. I was crying so much. It was like the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. And then it was just really hard. It was a hard time to go through, and I didn't tell my grandma about it, and I had to go to school because my grandma made me go to school, and I didn't want to tell her about it. And the next day I told my friends, and they asked him if he did, and he said, no, I never did that. And he was denying it, and I was not surprised. And one of my friends, Willie, he saw me walking home with him, and he told everyone that Jonathan did, his name was, my ex-boyfriend's name was Jonathan, and he told everyone that Jonathan was taking me to his house, and so everyone believed me. But then Jonathan said, I never took her to my house, she followed me home. And then for about a month, all my friends were mad at me, and they weren't talking to me, and it was just it was really hard to deal with. And the song he would always listen to this one song, but after he did that, when I was walking home, it was Houston, and he lived on the other side of Houston, so I had to walk all the way across Houston in the pouring rain, no money, just my phone that was running out of batteries, and it was about to die, and I didn't know my way home, so I kept on calling my grandma and asking her, well, how do I get home? How do I get home? And I told her I was at the library because I didn't want her to get mad at me for going to his house. But I had to walk home in the pouring rain, and I was soaking wet, and it was literally, felt like somebody was spraying a hose on me. It was raining that hard, and I was soaking wet when I got home, and I was shivering, and so I put sweatpants on and a sweater, and I curled up in front of the TV with a blanket, and I had to make myself soup so I didn't catch a cold. But it was a really hard time for me to go through, and I just couldn't get this off my chest to anyone because they would ask him, and he would probably say, no, I didn't do that to her. But he would always listen to this one song, as I was about to say, and I tried to listen to that song, tried to get up the courage to listen to it, and the song was Alan Jackson, Good Time, and I can't even listen to that because it makes me think of when he did that, and it was just so hard for me to deal with, and it was such a difficult time, and no one believed me because he was lying to everyone. He was lying to their faces, saying that I followed him home and that he didn't do anything. And he called me up when I was walking home from his house, and he said, I'm so sorry, can you please forgive me? And I said, I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive you. And he said, please, I'm sorry, I forced sex upon you, I'm so sorry. And I was like, you raped me, how can I forgive you after something like that? And he said, well, rape is such a strong word, I'd just say forcing sex, or surprise sex, or forcing sex. And I said, you raped me, goodbye. And I hung up, and I was just like, I did not want to go to school at all. It was heartbreaking, and it was just the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I am actually so lucky that I did not become pregnant, because I don't even know how many girls he does this to, but I don't think I want to know. But I just really need to talk about this and just get it off of my chest and tell every girl that has this happen to them that there is hope, there is help, and you have friends that will understand your feelings, and I understand your feelings, I understand what you're going through, and this is hard. And to all the guys who have done that, stop it. You are ruining these girls' lives. And I was not the same for 2 months, and I'm still not the same after it. I don't have a boyfriend, and it's just really hard. And to all the girls who this is happening to, or who you're going through this, and I understand how you feel, and it is tough, but there is hope. And one thing that you need to do is talk to your parents. I made a mistake on not doing that, and I regretted it, because I still haven't told my grandma, and it's difficult, and it's heartbreaking to have this happen to you, because you feel vulnerable, you feel like you're not beautiful, like people only use you for this, and it's heartbreaking. And I want people who are going through this to know that people understand. A lot of people understand how you feel, and there's hope. But I just really wanted to talk about this because I needed to get it off my chest, and if anyone knows how like I can get better, like what I can do to get better and recover from this, please. I'd love to know. Thank you.